Sometimes life can be a little messy, but with next-gen Nuvella Performance Fabric and
In the beginning, there was chaos and darkness in the void when God said, "Let there be light." And out of the chaos, God brought forth order, which was the firmament, and he called it heaven. Then God gathered up the waters in one place under heaven and caused the dry land to appear. God was pleased like the seas and the light. The earth was also good and made beautiful by the forces he had unleashed. Then God said, "Let this earth yield." And the earth brought forth all that grew in green and fruitful bounty. And God divided the day from the night, making the sun to rule the day, the moon and the stars to rule the night. And he made them signs for the seasons. Then God made the waters to swarm with creatures, and fill the skies with wings of birds. And he made the animals, each to their own natures, and to their places in the earth, in the air, and in the seas. And all the wonders of creation were surpassingly beautiful, yet incomplete. So God made man. Male and female, God created humanity in his image, and gave man dominion of the earth. And then, for the sake of all generations to come, God commanded them to write down the stories of their search for God, and the never-ending struggle between good and evil, and to collect them into a treasury of inspiration we call the Holy Bible. When a corrupt world turns against a man of faith, God unleashes his awesome love. The story of the ark and the man's search. In the beginning, there was only emptiness. And then God spoke, and everything began. Let there be light. Chaos became order. Life responded to his voice. But the rebellion was born. And what began in heaven reached the earth. Man fell, the earth became corrupt, and judgment came. But in the midst of the end, God preserved a beginning. Man tried to rise up and was split apart. And let us confuse their language. A promise was made. Look at the sky.
creation and the fall, of humanity and the promise, from the first breath of life to the birth of a nation. This is the story of Genesis. In the beginning, there was no form, there was no time, there was no sound, only emptiness, a deep abyss without limits, wrapped in dense darkness as if nothing ever existed. Absolute silence. But that silence was not absence, it was presence. Because there, God was already there. The Spirit of God hovered over the waters, not as something distant, but as living authority, as restrained power, ready to manifest. And then, God spoke. Let there be light. It was not a process, it was a rupture. Light burst into existence with absolute force, piercing the darkness as if it had never held authority. The void retreated. Chaos was ordered. And for the first time, something responded to his voice. God observed and said, "It is good." But that was only the beginning. The heavens stretched out like an endless mantle. The waters were separated, boundaries were established. The earth emerged, mountains rose, valleys opened. Rivers began to flow like living veins across creation. Everything obeyed, without resistance, without delay, because everything existed by his word. And then life appeared. In the heavens, movement. In the seas, depth. On the earth, abundance. Every creature, every detail carried intention. Nothing was random. Nothing was without purpose. And yet, something greater was still to come. But before the creation of man, the heavens were already full. They were beings of light, created before human time, powerful, majestic, servants of the presence. They beheld the glory. They lived near the throne. And among them, one stood out. His presence was different. His form striking. His beauty undeniable. His name, Lucifer, the bearer of light. He was not ordinary. He carried authority. He carried honor. He walked among the fire without being consumed. Close, very close. But something began to change. Not around him, within him. A thought, almost imperceptible. An idea that did not come from God. Why not me? One of the beings nearby notices, looks at him.
Lucifer, be careful what you keep inside.
But he does not respond. That thought grew. It repeated. It strengthened. And what was only an idea became desire. Lucifer looked around. He saw the glory. He saw the throne. But no longer as before. Something had been corrupted. And then he said, I will ascend.
Ascend? To where?
Above the heights. I will raise my throne. The spiritual realm began to react. Something was wrong. Very wrong. I will be like the Most High. Silence. But not a silence of peace. A silence of rupture. Because in that moment, rebellion was born. And he was not alone. Others looked, others listened, others were influenced. The same idea spread, not as imposition, but as seduction, a false promise of elevation. And one of them says hesitantly,
"If he goes up, Wintelbati will go up with him. Then there will be no more limits."
Silence. The decision was made. And then, what was order became division. What was harmony became tension. The heavens were no longer at peace. And then, God spoke. A single word. Enough. Absolute silence. All creation responds. There was no discussion. There was no negotiation. Authority does not need to explain itself. And in that instant, the fall began. Lucifer was cast down, not as one who descends, but as one who is expelled, violent, irreversible, like lightning cutting through space. And those who followed him fell with him. The light was corrupted, the glory was distorted, and what once reflected God now opposed him. Heaven returned to silence, but not the same silence as before, because now there was a war in motion, not visible, but real, and it had not ended. It had only changed its place. And then, God turned his attention to the earth. The stage was set, creation complete. But something was still missing, something different from everything that had been made, something that would not only exist, but would carry his image. And then, God descended. Not distant, not as a spectator, but present. He leaned over the dust of the earth. His hands touched what he had created. And he began to form, detail by detail, with precision, with intention. A body without life, without movement, but perfect. Then God drew near and breathed. The breath of the Creator himself entered that body. And in that instant, humanity began. Adam breathed, his chest filled with air, his eyes opened. Confusion, awareness, life.
What am I?
And then he heard the voice, the same voice that had created everything. Adam, you are the work of my hands. Silence. Adam watches, not fully understanding, but something within him recognizes. It was I who formed you, and I gave